What do you guys do?
I'm a professional. I'm a professional smoker.
Yeah.
But I'm an influencer or a personality here in New Mexico.
Nice.
And I'm an artist, and I work here at Farmers Quality. I'm the lead lab tech.
Nice. Yeah, you're one of the original OG employees.
Hell yeah.
So not everybody knows the Farmers story, but we actually, I went and was supposed to partner up with a guy that already had a license, Doc, and ended up buying him out and buying the company from him. But Juan was one of the original employees, was actually a dishwasher, housekeeping, whatever, when I got there. And yeah, now he's a lead lab tech.
The lead lab tech
at Farmers.
Yes,
so
Heck yeah.
it's been how many years has it been, Wani? Since you started in the cannabis industry?
I want to say 5 years. It's been 5 years.
Almost 6.
Yeah, almost 6 years.
So I think it's because we're coming up on 4 years of Farmers.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something cool for that 4 years of Farmers.
Dude, the first year was so much fun when we went to Topgolf, dude.
Yeah.
That shit was so fun.
And so you were there, I think, 2 years before that.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's crazy. No, so Juan's a great person to talk to about what it takes to kind of step into the cannabis industry, get your foot in the door. So many people ask me that. How do I get into the industry? Make sure you want to get into the industry because it's a regular ass job, you know what I mean? Just like anything else. And B, if you are really, passionate about education, passionate about knowledge, and, passionate about learning more about cannabis, it's not that hard. What do you think? What do you think it takes to break into the industry?
Honestly, just you gotta just hard work and like you said, you gotta be dedicated to it.
You're ready to eat shit, I'm sure.
Yeah, or just you can't just think that like you're gonna come into something and like smoke or whatever, it's not just a layback job. It's actually hard work that you have to put in.
I think that's a huge misconception is it's like, everybody thinks it's this. It's sitting around smoking weed.
Chilling.
This is weekend activities.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
no,
We do.
Yeah.
This is what I do on my free time. It's a regular job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so many people overlook that. And I think the easiest way to break into it is just go take a less favorable entry position. What'd you do for the first 2 years?
Dishes and just clean, honestly.
Clean like a motherfucker, huh?
Clean, yep. And if we thought it was clean, they boss would look over it and he'd find something.
Not me, Doc.
Yeah, Doc, yeah. And we'd have to just clean it again, honestly, and just So I know what a clean lab needs to look like.
Doc gave you a different level of clean.
Yeah.
He whatever you thought clean was, when you clean something for Doc, he would be like, yeah, no, fuck no.
It needs to be more clean.
Fuck
Yeah,
no.
for sure.
You could clean that 4 more times.
Yeah.
And then grinding weed. I can't forget about grinding. You can't forget about grinding.
Oh man, grinding weed.
How much weed have you ground, Juan?
A lot of fucking weed, man. A lot of weed. That's one thing too.
You think a couple tons?
Yeah, I never saw as much weed as I've seen. I've seen a lot more now, but like when I started working, I was like, dang, this is a lot of weed. Like, holy moly.
That's a good point. I think that's the biggest culture shock coming into cannabis is, as a consumer, you see a bag of weed or, if you're lucky enough, a pound of weed.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're a, low level, pusher, you see, 10 pounds of weed, maybe. You know what I mean? When you get into the cannabis industry, especially the extraction side,
100 pounds.
you see fucking thousands of pounds of weed. Metric fucking tons, depending on what sector you're in. So I think that is one of the biggest culture shocks is like, holy fuck, there's a lot of weed. And just, we're fucking smashing through it, soaking it in fucking solvent, get the fuck out of here, throw it away.
Yeah.
And it's just this wild, like,
well, we used to get barrels of weed that just
the drums, the 55-gallon drums,
Jesus,
with just different strains, and we'd have to like organize it, then process it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of weed.
Yeah, it was a lot of weed.
And I think that's the biggest point is if you're trying to go entry level in any industry, you got to be able to eat shit, come in, do the grunt work, do the shitty jobs. And so many people don't get that. It's not a fucking, complex formula. It's get your foot in the door, sweep the floor, fucking clean toilets, be available.
Yeah. And be willing to learn.
Correct.
Yeah. Keep an open mind.
Yeah. Don't be that I know. Like, just whatever you're gaining, like whatever someone's telling you, like really like
be a sponge
be a sponge and like grasp it and like learn from it.
Well, I think that's the first step that so many people have a hard time with is realize you don't know shit. Like I to this day feel like I don't know shit.
I'm still learning a lot of stuff.
There is a fucking million motherfuckers that are way smarter than me. And so my goal every day is just learn something new.
Yep.
I don't care what the fuck it is. I don't care if it's something stupid. I just something more, because it's the second you shut off and think you fucking know everything, the second you start just eliminating opportunities in your life.
Yep.
And so many people just have this ego issue or whatever, and they just feel they fucking know it all. And I'm still waiting for the motherfucker, and I've met some smart motherfuckers and they didn't fucking know what the fuck was going on either. So letting go of that ego and letting that ego die and truly entering a opportunity at an entry level experience is cool and unique. And it takes a certain person to be able to come in and wash fucking dishes and clean floors for 2 years to then just get to move up to packaging, you know what I mean? And get to way down. They're like, oh, well, and a lot of people look at that and they say, well, that's stupid. I'm going to fucking do that. But if you're really passionate about something or you really want to do something, you're willing to do literally whatever it takes.
Yep.
And washing dishes is like not, how do I say it? Like, it's really hard to do. Like, these aren't just
to do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't just your normal dishes, like your forks and knives and plates, whatever. Like, these are beakers and Erlenmeyers that like
you're dealing with expensive things.
Not only do they cost a lot of money, but to clean it the right way so we can use it again. It's definitely something that we look at a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah,
for sure, man. And people don't realize it. People don't realize what an actual like dishwashing protocol is, and what clean really is or sanitized really is. And you're right. It's a series of procedures where you got to go through and make sure it's right. And depending on what the glass is coated in, depends on how you're going to clean it.
Yep.
And so if you don't know, dishwashing is a skill, especially at a laboratory level, is a skill all in its own. And so many people overlook that.
Well, it's crazy. You talk about like people not wanting to start at the ground floor, but the cannabis industry isn't standardized. This is a new industry. So you can't just, there's, company with 500 employees in a standardized industry that's been around for 80 years. Yeah, you can hire somebody that's further up, that's suited for that position because that industry has standards already. Cannabis is still building its standards.
Correct.
So
100%.
It's important for you to start from the bottom and learn every position to get a bigger picture of what the entire operation looks like. That's like paramount in my opinion.
Yeah, and Doc was insistent on it. When farmers started growing and he was still around in the picture, I would hire people and fucking put him in the position I needed him in. And he's like, wait a minute, why aren't they in there washing dishes? Why aren't they doing something else? And I unfortunately had to skip a lot of the times that procedure, and it bit me in the ass a lot of the time. Very few people can take things serious if they haven't started from that level. Yeah. So no, it's essential to be successful, I believe, in any one focus that you're trying to go after is starting from that base level, learning how to crawl before you walk. That's vital in learning how to actually do something and be a master at it. Mm-hmm. So crazy journey along the way, huh?
Oh yeah, no, definitely, man. Like,
what's the biggest lesson you think you learned?
I'm still learning a bunch of like lessons, honestly.
Okay. What's the funniest lesson you think you learned?
When I was getting trained on ethanol extraction, I thought I was being smart by kind of like skipping a step, I guess, that I was told, but I put ethanol first before the dry ice, and I learned my lesson. I filled the pot up to the correct level of where the ethanol needed to be. Then I just
gallons and gallons.
Gallons and gallons. Then I I smashed the block of dry ice and I just threw it in there
Shit.
all in one go, and it completely
Like a volcano.
emptied out. Yeah, like a volcano, and emptied out all the ethanol from the pot.
How fast did that ethanol leave that container?
Faster than
Jesus.
Yeah, faster than the dry ice fell in there. Yeah, it was pretty
So which
crazy.
resulted in what? About fucking 2 inches of ethanol on the
all
fucking
over
floor.
the floor. Yeah, yeah, that was, and I was like, fuck, man, like boss is gonna be so mad.
I just told you too. I was like, rule number one, Wani.
Yeah, before I could even clean it up, here comes boss right in here, and he's just like, what the heck? I told you. I was like, oh.
I bet that
Mistakes
whole
were
thing.
made.
Have you ever gone alcohol first since then?
No.
Yeah.
Dry ice, always. And you guys remember that dry ice, man.
Dry ice before alcohol. Yeah,
Yes.
that's one of those rock, paper, scissors rules that like it just fucking don't work any other way. Like, yeah.
No, definitely not.
I bet you've never been cleaner in your whole life.
Yeah.
That floor was never been cleaner. It got a fucking $300 fucking.
Oh,
Ethanol
yeah.
bath.
Spot mop for sure.
Wow.
So Bear, so you're similar and in another way. You've made yourself into a cannabis personality, influencer in the state, and you've actually entered the cannabis industry as well, doing marketing and different types of media stuff for a local company.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, what would you, thinking the same thing I asked Wani, what do you think it took to get in the door?
It takes a passion, definitely. In the beginning, I thought it was just, I'm going to smoke a bunch of weed and that's what it's going to be. But then I realized, you're not going to get, like, if you go sign up to any dispensary or any shop or any manufacturer, just like how Juan had to do, you're going to start with something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And it's going to discourage you in the beginning. I'm going to be real. For the first year and a half, I did fucking files.
Yeah.
I sat in an office and scanned files and learned the industry. And, now I'm running pop-ups. Now I'm doing, events. I'm going out and doing shows for cannabis stuff, and you got to remember you got to start with the small things. Like I remembered that I was telling myself in the beginning, in the first 6 months, I was like, I wanted to smoke weed and fucking learn how to make extracts and roll blunts. I was like, but I'm just pushing papers. And I was like, this is bullshit. But I realized that there's a reason why some of these companies do that to you. They do that so you can collect all the skills you need, so they know that you're going to be the person they need in the long run.
No, I think that's a good point. You, with the new employee and so, people fucking tell you anything. Oh my God. after, being on the other side of many interviews now, people will tell you anything in the interview. They'll
tell you what you want to hear.
They'll walk 5,000 fucking miles and they'll fucking do this and they have all these fucking skills and, people bullshit so fucking bad in an interview that you don't know what to expect. The
100%.
only thing that really tells you is the test of time, is that watching them stick it out, watching them do something, I say eat shit, but watching them do something that isn't good, isn't fun, isn't great, you know what I mean? And really seeing how their character shines from, do they clean the floors and scrub the place down with a smile on their face, or are they kicking the can saying, fuck this, the place sucks?
Yep.
Because if they can't do that, I hate to say it, the person is worthless. If you can't help in any way possible, you know what I mean? You're not going to really succeed in that company. Because granted, one day you might run the company. But if you can't start at some point and just come in and say, I'm going to help the team, I'm going to do what needs to be done to help the team. The place is fucking dirty. Everybody in here is fucking busy doing something. Hey, I'm the guy they hired to clean this motherfucker. Clean it. Fucking make it shine.
Yep.
Clean it the best way it could fucking be done. Because eventually there's going to be a time for another position in the company. So if you're filing, you come there to fucking file. You here, file this shit, motherfucker. File your fucking ass off. Cut yourself up.
Yep.
Fucking file. Be focused. Watch what you're fucking doing. Do a good job. Because eventually the time's going to come where this company says, hey, maybe, this guy's got skill in this. This guy's got whatever. I'm going to give him a chance doing this. You know what I mean? This motherfucker's filed 40,000 fucking files, and so being able to have that kind of stamina and a little bit of tenacity it takes to do something you really don't want to do. The military has the term for it. Embrace the suck.
Yep.
If you're not willing to embrace the suck to get, and it's a simple term. It means to do what you got to do, embrace the shitty part of having to get between point A and point B. And it's the mission takes this, so we're going to fucking do it. And a smile on our face, embrace the suck. And so I think being able to step into any career path with that mind state and with that truly like, I'm going to do this no matter what, I'm going to get this no matter what is almost essential to being successful in it for sure. So back to you, Bear, what, influencer, social media, what is the Bear brand more about? What exactly you got going on with that? What are you trying to do? Past taking fucking dab videos, of course.
I want to put it out to where it's a known brand. I want to come out with, products that are in dispensaries.
Okay.
But right now I'm working on with the brand is more community reach, more education, more being about the people.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the people that will follow my page and watch my page, I wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get back to where I started. And learn more about the education of cannabis so I can teach people that. Because I've noticed since we've been in, rec, a lot of people don't know what certain products are and what certain things are.
It's bad.
Horrible.
People don't know their fucking ass from their elbow when it comes to cannabis products. And they can be, the biggest stoner in the world, and they'll tell you they're the biggest stoner. But when it comes to the individual products and uses and different stuff that is now in the modern cannabis market, they don't know.
No,
it's bad.
It's kind of funny, when I get to sit in the dispensaries and stuff, I see these 60, 70, 80-year-olds coming in, and they're like, oh, I remember what weed was in back in my day. And I'm like, weed these days ain't nothing you're used to.
Different. Yeah.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that is the largest growing, and fucking Google it. Don't quote me, but I believe that is the largest growing
community.
What do they say? A group that's buying cannabis.
Demographic
that's buying cannabis is the geriatrics, is the 60 plus, 60 to 80, whatever range, and that's huge, man. Is being able to educate them so they don't have a bad time. Because
100%, you don't want that.
Soon as that consumer comes through the door, I don't care how fucking old they are, when they tell you they smoked weed back in 1960, like, you know what I mean? You're gonna be like, whoa, buddy, like it's not the same. Even the weed's not the same. Like, don't even hit the bowl the same as you did then. No. You're triple, quadruple the THC percentage, since then. Much less, talking about hash and edibles, and you don't want to give somebody like that a bad experience. So no, I think that's super cool. Education is something that we're really trying to step into with farmers as well.
Nice.
Me and Jess and I are working on some cool projects, and you guys are going to help us out with one of them. But yeah, we want to spread that education too, because it's extremely important.
Yeah. So for context, the share of over 65-year-old Americans who use marijuana daily has tripled in the last decade, from 11% in 2009 to 32% in 2019.
Well, I'll tell you why. Cannabis is a other medication killer. People, these people all have ailments. Getting old fucking sucks, and it hurts, and sleep sucks, and fucking life sucks, and PTSD and all this shit. And you get to a certain age that the fucking big pharma and all these fucking doctors are trying to pump you full of all kinds of shit. You hear old people sitting there telling you they dropped 6 fucking medications off smoking a bowl in the evening. And you're like, oh, fuck. Well, I'm glad it's helping you. But to think what happens if they started smoking a bowl in the evening and when they were fucking 35, you know what I mean? Or whatever, 30 or fucking 15 or who fucking knows. Their life would have been completely different. And fucking big pharma wants to and the healthcare system and medical system wants to pump you full of this idea that you need all this shit to when there's fucking natural remedies, different fucking vitamins you can take, all kinds of stuff that'll completely change your life if you just pay attention to what your body fucking needs.
Because there's no regulation on it. They want to give us something they can regulate.
Yeah.
You know, I working in the cannabis industry, I've noticed like when I go sit in the dispensaries when I do pop-ups, I probably see two out of say like 50 people my age, I probably see 2 people my age out of 50. The rest of them are older, way older. And it's cool to see what I really like to see the older generation coming in is because it means the stigma is going to change eventually.
Correct. Well, the stigma's changing.
And that's what I like to see.
No, that's great. That's great that demographic is, trying to, so many governments try to overstep their boundary and prohibit this and prohibit that and, really try to set in like hardcore control. And I think when you let people do something that's been prohibited for so long, you're going to have a ton of people that literally just didn't do it because it was against the law. And no matter how bad they wanted to or whatever, you have a ton of people that just, never did it because it was bad. And so as soon as it becomes legal, they wanted to do it this whole time. And it's sad that so many people have been robbed of that, throughout fucking the history of the country.
I agree with that. Like now that I'm 33, my grandpa, I go to his house and, my grandpa's in his 80s. Growing up, my grandpa was very strict, military man. So we never did anything wrong. And now that I'm older and, my grandpa knows that I work in the industry, he's asking me for advice now on, I have like my glaucoma or my pain or this. Do you know that can cannabis help me? So I get to educate my family and change that look on cannabis in my generation, in my family. And that's really cool.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. And I think that's what it takes is just opening up the conversation. And that's what, destroys stigma is just talking about it. So many people, if things become taboo or they were fucking raised some way or some stupid fucking religion told them that they can't do this or that. And all it takes is talking to, other like-minded fucking human beings and realizing, oh shit, this isn't bad. This isn't a horrible thing. This is actually a positive thing. So what do you guys think I'll start with you, Bear. What do you think's one of the biggest changes you've seen overall in the cannabis program since rec hit? Adult use.
In my opinion, adult use, the prices have come down.
Yeah. And
there are more dispensaries than liquor stores now.
We are saturated. Yeah. We're extremely saturated. And I think that's something to really talk about because I'm also seeing a lot of places close.
I see a lot of mom and pop shops closing because of the big companies are coming in.
Well, look at Organica.
Yeah.
Our buddies at Organica, they finally
RIP
hung up their hat, shout out to Organica.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Damn.
And then the whole crew there and everybody that was affected by that. But yeah, the market is so oversaturated that I just don't feel, these companies, unless they've got some sort of niche, it's very hard for them to make money. And when you get so big, your operation costs and everything gets so high that if you're not making fucking constant flow, you're fucked. And it's just a matter of days or a matter of debt before you say, enough's enough. I can't keep going.
Yep.
I got to fucking shut it down. And so that's what's so sad to see some of these bigger companies and older companies shut down because that's what happened,
It's what gets me is, before when we were all just medical, we had a lot of these, let's say, starting companies that have been in since 2016, 15, start and build a legacy that sell out. That's what another thing that gets me is like, we're just into a new era of cannabis in New Mexico. So with it being, rec now, I think these companies that are selling out should hold onto their name and stuff and not sell out because I think it's going to bring more money to the community.
And just so you're, I know some people at Organica, and just so a lot of people have said that Organica sold out.
Nope, they didn't.
Organica shut down.
Yep.
And some other dispensaries took over their leases for their stores, I believe. So just so the record's straight, some of these places are just closing. They're not selling out to another company.
Just closing doors.
But you're right. There's this whole, and old Dookie fucking taught us this back with the Dirty 30 when he shrunk it down to fucking, or everybody else shrunk it down to 24. a lot of the bigger companies are just going to envelop and take and buy out some of the smaller companies. So you are going to see licenses be taken over, or bought out or whatever you want to call it. But the problem is unless they're a super established large operation, they're not worth much. Just as a brand, a dispensary is not worth much. And most of these places are leased. They've just got leases on their spots. They're not necessarily owned property. So, unless they've got some crazy stock of shit to sell, which they obviously weren't able to sell it.
It has to be good too, man.
It's hard.
It can't be shit product.
It's a hard sell. They have to really have a bunch of locations that they've got locked in, or, some really good point about the business or some great business model that's making money. But most of the times, if they're making money, they wouldn't want to sell in the first place.
100%.
So there's this weird, fucked up, saturated time right now that I think
what niche is going to make you stand out in this situation?
Which, like you said and started out with, has made great prices for the consumer.
Yeah.
Because you have supply and demand. And the same reason prices were so high in the beginning, we had such a shift in supply and demand. Now we have that other shift where we're now saturated and we've got this fucking supply, but only how many population? Fucking, was it 4 million in the fucking state? And that's wrong, huh, Jess? 2 million? It's not shit. It's not shit. We have a big ass state and not that many people.
We have way more space than we have people.
And you can only fucking plan on so much goddamn tourism. Like only so much tourism is going to come over. So there's a certain point where that supply level, we're way fucking over it.
Oh yeah.
And with these that fucking 10,000, 4,000, granted, I don't think, plant count should be all crazy strict like they used to be. But with them having this wide open play on fucking, I said it before, all you need is a fucking stick of bubble gum and one fucking shoe to get a fucking license and pay your fee, of course. But with them, taking in all these licenses and just giving out licenses like fucking candy, you now have this saturation. And too much cannabis was grown.
And it's crazy too because people don't realize that that's not free of consequences. That takes water. We're in a state that's dry. We don't have a shit ton of water, dude.
Yeah, we're wasting our resources just to have a bunch of stuff we're not selling.
Yeah, California has this issue growing almonds, and it's like every almond takes gallons and gallons and gallons of water to grow, and it's like you have to limit the amount of waste. So if you're going to grow, it has to sell. I'm sure there's regulatory bodies that make sure that certain processes are free of a certain amount of waste because of the amount of resources there or the kind of environmental harm, and all of that applies to cannabis, right? And I remember us having a conversation way back, one of the first episodes. In fact, it may have been the inaugural episode, the very first episode with Running Eagle, where you guys asked the question of whether or not there would be enough.
I
think there wasn't enough for like a month. Wow. Everybody got their first harvest out and it was just instantly oversaturated.
We were completely oversaturated. Yeah. And so, you're right, Jess. Water's huge. We're in a desert. We're already fighting water with Texas. And there's already water sanctions on fucking different places. Are we taking too much water? Are we over tapping into our natural state resources because licensing has been overzealous and created way too many licenses. And, I'm talking more about grow right now, but, material has gone down to a level of the material's barely worth anything. It's the processing you get to do to it or the fucking whatever you got to do to it that makes it worth something. And so it's a crazy time. And unless we want to see what fucking Oklahoma saw, we better fucking slow our roll.
I agree with that.
And believe me, I'm not trying to take away anybody's fucking opportunity to have a license and anybody's fucking opportunity to follow their fucking dreams. But holy fuck, like when is it? How many?
When's enough is enough?
Yeah.
Growing boof has consequences now. But puts a whole different context. Like, hey, you don't want to grow boof. No, like you actually it's an ethical thing.
Like, is it fucking worth it for the state for you to even grow your fucking bullshit? And,
are you just taking our water to grow trash?
Well, and now you're talking about that's a serious fucking question. And is it like, are you up to par, or are you hurting the fucking state by your operation just not going anywhere. You know, and
That's deep.
you know, that's something we got to ask ourselves and fucking bow out and man out if you can't answer that question and you're like, oh fuck, I grow fucking 4 acres of shit here that fucking I just, you know,
That just doesn't do anything.
you know, and you know, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the crazy part is like weed isn't particularly perishable. I mean, it definitely has shelf life, but it's not like bananas or fucking normal produce.
No.
Like the amount of produce that's wasted, obviously I'm sure it could be reduced significantly, but it's understandable. Like it perishes, it goes bad.
I mean,
Like-
did you hear like in Washington back when they went and they had all that weed that was just going to waste because they had so much overgrowth of
In
cannabis?
Oregon, dude, the
Yeah,
pictures
Oregon?
I'd see on Instagram where they'd say like $1 eighths or free eighths for every person who walks in, or like
Yeah,
$5
they were just
ounces.
giving it away.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. So I think as a state, we really need to fucking pull our pants up and address the situation and stop just taking in all the fucking cash and start really thinking about, is this smart? Is this smart for the state? Does this have detrimental consequences if we continue this open fucking door system? You know, and so we'll see where it goes. You know, sorry to get all fucking super state political, but it like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
I agree.
For real.
I
know,
definitely agree
and-
on that.
And you're going to see a lot of mom and pop and small shops that are just not going to be able to make it, you know, and I talk to them constantly, and it's a rough market right now. So, you know, when do we have enough weed shops? As much as I fucking love weed shops, you know, and as much as I love people making money off cannabis and being successful off cannabis, but there's only a certain amount of demand, and we have to keep the supply at a certain level, because if it goes over, there's no telling how shitty it'll get.
We'll just be another Oklahoma at that point.
Exactly. And you know, I've said it on the podcast before, people really close to me, you know, have called me in fucking absolute distress from Oklahoma, like, holy fuck, man, it's horrible out here. I fucking can't get $3 a fucking cart or whatever. And I'm just like, holy fuck, bro. Like that's bad. That's
Are they
rough.
medical or rec?
They're both.
Oh, wow.
I mean, don't quote me, but I think they're both.
Yeah,
Okay.
they had basically no limitations. You could go like as much as you wanted.
Oh, it's a wild
It was
west
it was
out
crazy,
there.
bro. Like there was no regulation.
That's
really.
ridiculous.
So, you know, in a world of no regulation to over regulation, there needs to be a middle, you know, and I think we're bordering, you know, at least on licenses. I think we're not being conscious of it.
I think the last time I heard, I think New Mexico had 500 plus licenses.
no,
It's 1,000.
Oh,
no,
1,000
shit.
it's
plus.
thousands, right?
Yeah,
Thousands.
thousands of retail locations for sure.
I
Yeah.
was way off.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so you know, and you got this like misconception. The licenses are non-transferable, but you have this misconception that like people that are holding on the license as some value, and then they'll be able to transfer it and sell it at one time. But so there's a lot of inactive licenses in that
Okay.
you know, that mind state. But yeah, you know, it's weird. It's weird to see where it's gonna go. So back to cannabis and the reason that you know that's brought us all together. What are you guys' favorite strains? What's your all time favorite strain? Do you guys got any? What's new that's popped out on the list?
So this one that I'm proud that I actually learned how to roll. This is Blunts, from P37 here local.
Blunts.
Yeah, Blunts. That's the
Okay.
name of it.
Okay.
And every time I smoke it, it's sticky, it's pungenty, it has a great smell,
Okay.
but it keeps me energetic. I don't get tired off of it. But like hands down, like I've been smoking for a long time. Favorite strain, Golden Goat.
Golden Goat. I haven't heard that one in a while. What's yours, Lonnie?
Favorite strain, I would probably have to say papaya.
Ooh.
As extract or as flower too?
As extract.
Extract.
Flower, probably I can't think of it right now.
The real papaya brings some fucking serious concentrated terps, and almost any way you take it, rosin, butane extract, no matter what you're doing with it, even cured,
you're gonna taste it.
Trim material, it has that fucking
rotten fruit, dude.
Yeah,
the papaya. I love papaya.
I think I agree with you. Papaya or GMO?
I've been going to Sandia Botanicals a lot, and I've been getting Cold Snap. That stuff's pretty good.
Cold Snap, I've heard is really good.
I don't know if I have a favorite strain. I just like any strain that really like if it
flavorful?
if it's flavorful and it sticks out.
What flavor? What notes? What notes pull your nose? What do you prefer? Like a citrus?
Like a citrus, or like a citrus sometimes, and then like a real chemi. Like gets to me.
It's funny you say rotten fruit, Jess. I'm on that KY Jealous right now, and I mean, God, it's like a rotten orange or like a fermented fucking tangerine or something. Like it's got some crazy terps in there. Some of the guys say they smell like beef stew or something. Yeah, it's a wild fucking. It's strong.
I said beef orange chicken style.
Yeah,
I could smell that.
Yeah.
My favorite strain. That's such a hard. So it used to be sour diesel. I used to be a sour diesel guy, like true in and true out. And now that's a hard one for me, man. That fucking KY Jealous has really fucking blown my mind lately. But I'm more of a I like citrus. I like a stinky citrus. I always like the funk. I always like the, the
what about like GMO, garlicky, mushroomy?
Yeah. GMO's good, but GMO's one of those strains that just I get burnt out on. I get to the point where I don't even want to eat onions and garlic fucking food after I've done too much GMO. So GMO's one I think you can get burnt out on.
That makes sense.
And you do need like a fruity other side to it.
GMO's seasonal.
Tropicana cookies is another really good one in rosin.
Yeah, so Tropicana,
any trop, dude.
Yeah, any trop.
Fire.
Yeah, the Tropicana cookies, that's what we smoked in the blunt. Freyer Farms. Nice. Shout out Freyer. I fucked that up. It's mandarin cookies or some shit.
Well, either way, that Freyer Farm shit's fire.
Freyer's fire. Yeah. You give him that. I've known him a while. He's my buddy, but he's growing nothing but fire right now.
Hell yeah!
If you guys are lucky enough to find some Freyer, it's very select. He's small craft grower, but if you're lucky enough to find some,
I'll have to keep my eyes out and find
buy Freyer for sure.
You know what I think? I think when it comes to choosing terps, something I've noticed with you, and I think it's similar with me, Donnie, is if the way it smells matches the way it tastes, because I notice if you like candy terps in a lot of rosins, it doesn't translate to the flavor. It smells like candy, but then it just kind of tastes like generic rosin when you smoke it. But with GMO and with citrus stuff, that smell passes to the flavor. It's crazy.
It's true to it. And what's cool is we got some mod grapes. We harvested some mod grapes from Sandia, and we did the rosin extraction. But before they did the rosin extraction, they trimmed it in the freezer and because we took it really woolly mammoth, and then they did a butane extraction just off of the fucking trim leaf of it, and man, it's fire. So that's the butane mod grapes. And it came out great, bro.
Good.
And it almost has more fucking terps than the rosin mod grapes. And it was just off the leaves.
That's honestly one things I love about working in the industry, I would say, is all the different terpene smells they get, different, every different strain has a different smell, and
especially the Disti Pharts.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Disti Pharts.
I love it
hold on.
When I have
what
to burp.
The fuck is a Disti Fart?
Oh no!
I need to experience one of these in life.
It's not fun.
So we pull out VSCs, or volatile sulfur compounds, out of the cannabis crude and the crude oil. And they're foul smelling.
It smells like a baby diaper.
I mean, it's like vomit in a diaper and a fucking bad fish.
Yeah, it's
the carp terps.
Yeah, it differentiates every time. It could smell
that's horrible.
It could smell like fish one day, and then it could smell like baby diapers the next.
So and I think that's probably one of the biggest things that shocks people when they work in a cannabis lab for the first time is, and I was talking about embrace the suck.
Oh my God,
I was gonna do an embrace the stink asked Jesh. He didn't understand it. He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you want? I was like, I want to embrace the stink fucking banner. And he's like, why, bro?
I still haven't
And
made
he's
it.
like, what the fuck? I was like, for the lab, bro. Cause it's like, it's like hard work and it fucking stinks in here. And,
Yeah.
embrace the suck, Jesh. And he's like, yeah, whatever, bro. I'm so fucking busy. You've embrace. I'll put it in the fucking note. You know what I mean? He said it nicer than that, but it's
still in the note.
basically
It's
that's
still
what he
there.
told me. But yeah, I want to embrace the stink, same mentality, because it fucking reeks. It still grosses me out. And and then if you get it on your hands,
Oh man, it's the worst.
what happens when you get around your clothes?
You just
like so the distillate
Yeah.
smells that way, and you're extracting that
No,
out.
the vac pump when you burp it out. Yeah.
Or it's the
But
heads
it's coming
fraction.
it's coming from the.
So it's your
the
volatiles.
Yeah.
And I could let Juan explain it, but it's your volatiles, your esters, your oil esters, all the shit that you're stripping from the crude oil, all the stuff that has lower boiling points, and it's
You could see it too once you put it under vac, it's fucking going through
Okay.
all the glassware, and then it's just chilling there waiting for it to be fucking burped out.
I've seen the machines run. I did not know that it stunk.
what we strip off the fucking beloved plant oil would like make a fucking cannabis lover cry.
Yeah.
'Cause, like just knowing all those nasty things. It's concentrating the nasty
crazy.
in there and removing it, stripping it. And that's why most people don't realize that, raw extracts, crude extracts, that we love so much, the terpy stuff, the flavorful stuff, it's a raw extract. It's not refined. It's not cleaned, quote unquote. I'm not saying it's dirty, but in a chemical world, in a chemistry world, it's not clean. And so, and we've had this very controversial subject before, is if you're talking medicine and you're talking clean and sterile and pure, you're talking distillate and isolate, and you're talking a different form of extract that has been guaranteed to get any of the impurities or other shit out. And so that's one of the things about distillate that makes it cleaner, is all that shit's been yanked out. And even though we do like it and we enjoy the flavor and blah, 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 a lot of that stuff isn't necessarily tested, quote unquote, good for us. So especially not concentrated. So, there's that really like controversial argument there of like medicine or not. And when you're talking, if you're, talking pharmaceuticals and you're talking lab grade, you're talking isolates and distillates and pure clean extracts. And I'm not saying they can't have terps, because obviously you can clean and purify terps as well, isolate. But in its current form, what we love so much, cannabis is a crude extract, or a crude, commodity, a crude item. So that's where it's really hard to have that conversation. Or
the terp distillations smell way better, dude.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But once you go past a certain boiling point, you're pulling other shit off there. And
I mean, also your crude is ethanol extract, which is pulling a lot of shit that you wouldn't normally in like a
Correct.
really cold isobutane extraction, right? Yeah.
See, now in my career, I just need to know what one of these smells like.
yeah, well, and there's levels to it too. You can
Wani
make
can jar some up for you.
Oh.
Put it right at the end of the pump and close it.
Oh
Mail it
man,
to him, bro.
there's a guy I used to work with that used to say that he was gonna. He didn't like this one guy, and he used to say that he was gonna save up the heads. We call it heads, the heads fraction, that nasty shit we're talking about, and go pour it in their fucking vent on their car.
No.
So that they would just have this horrible fucking stench.
It's like rubbing shit under the seat, dog shit under the
Oh
seat.
no.
And knowing it as a distiller, I used to be like, God, that's so ignorant. That's so fucked up. Like,
That's brutal.
he must hate
That
this
is-
person
that is
so bad
brutal.
because
That would
stick bomb
suck.
times fucking 20, bro.
Yeah.
Oh no. And I bet you wouldn't be able to get that out of your car.
No.
That's a new car.
Could barely get it out of the pump, dude.
Oh no.
So I saw a pretty cool question on Beard Bros the other day, and it really got me thinking. What was the first weed you smoked, and what did you smoke it out of? First experience.
I used
and
to steal my dad's joints when I was like 7 because I thought they were cigarettes.
Okay.
And I'd steal them and I'd like run out to the back while they're still lit and hit them.
Yeah.
And it was probably Mexican like brick weed, but like I thought I was cool. And then when I first like got older, it was probably like 13 when I started smoking with friends, and that was the OG Kush. Is what we first started smoking.
And what'd you guys smoke out of?
A soda can. My other homie took a remember the black tubes from the back of a washer?
Yeah.
And he put aluminum foil in it, and it was like a beer bong but for weed.
What about you, Wani?
Yeah. Kind of highlighter pipe. And
highlighter pipe?
Yeah.
And what kind of weed?
And it was probably just swag. Like just Mexican tire weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old were you?
16.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I want to know.
Me, so I answered the question on there. So it was Mexi brick weed, fucking gross weed. And we actually smoked it out of a socket pipe.
Nice.
My buddy, I can't even take credit for it, but my buddy stole some sockets, the right parts from his dad. And we actually had it. And you know what the other cool thing is? His dad had like parts cleaner because he's like a mechanic. So my buddy actually knew to like clean it, and like we washed it and everything. And we were like, it's fucking mechanic tools are gross, bro. They're all like grime and fucking all kinds of nasty shit. So we cleaned the fuck out of it, all conscientious, not wanting to taste like car grease. And I got super stoned off some super gross weed, and I was probably
with some wrench cleaner in it.
Yeah, a little bit. We're smart though. We did use the solvent first, and then went to water, and we heated it up with the lighter. And we were.
You've been a farmer since day
one. And I was probably 11, 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a long time ago.
Y'all ever make a waterfall with a Sobe bottle? Remember the old Sobe bottles? They would have this little like indent at the very bottom.
Yeah.
That if you took a nail and a hammer, just barely tapped it, it would pop that out perfect.
Yep.
And you could make a waterfall with it, and that was my first time smoking.
Well,
nice.
And one of the grossest ways I used to get high when I was a youngin' is the gravity bar.
Oh, I love those.
That was all, and especially with some like raw fucking swag in it, some Mexi fucking brick weed, and a goddamn fucking what is a big old water jug and a trash can in your buddy's garage.
And you just had so much of it, you could just keep going one after another.
Put out in the fucking water.
The worst.
Coffee and fucking dying.
I've seen people projectile vomit off.
Yo, I still do those, but we do gravity dabs now.
Fuck that. As an adult and a fucking a civilized smoker, I will not.
Hey,
I even bought one, I think, as an adult, and I like hit it once. I'm like, what the fuck?
Don't want this.
What the fuck was I thinking? Fuck that.
Hey, I at least upgraded. I do gravity dabs.
It kind of makes you, it made me think, you know what I mean? How the fuck, it'd been a long time, but kind of makes you think like what started it off. Because a lot of people try cannabis and they don't like it. You know what I mean? There's those people too. I don't really hang out with any of them. But,
same.
There's, except for like my wife. But there's those people too that just don't really like, cannabis. It's not their thing.
Yeah.
It just, or they don't, speaking of my wife, I think she likes cannabis. She obviously supports it. She, has always been an advocate for it, but it didn't make her feel necessarily the way she wanted to. Mm-hmm. And that's, for each their own.
Paranoid or something
you don't got to smoke weed to be cool for sure. But it's wild because there's definitely a ton of people that do like it, obviously.
No, shout out your wife. She's cool just in general.
Yeah, no. And what's funny is she's been hitting the sauce cart.
Nice.
Lately. I gave her a sauce cart and I asked her the other day, I was like, where's your cart? You're not hitting it? She's like, oh, I hit it too much the other day. I got too paranoid, so I'm not smoking it. I was like, well, you did too much.
It's crazy. I kind of like getting that paranoid kind of high sometimes. Like,
I agree with you.
The first time I ever got that high, I was like, whoa, what the like I'm really
Bug-eyed and
stoned.
everything.
Yeah, like holy shit.
I feel like, I guess it's fucking because I'm old, but I feel like I'm like chasing the dragon, just trying to fucking
get that baked
get
again.
fucking
Yeah.
freaked out and fucking too high.
I bet you I could do it too.
I will say if I sit there and pound dabs, but it's different. I don't get weird anymore. I don't get weed weird. I just like, okay, I'm going to bed. Like I'm fucking tired now.
You've learned your routine when you get to that weird though.
Yeah.
You learn, hey, I can't chill right now. I gotta go to bed. But I agree with you, Zombo. I like that like when I ate the farmer's edibles, man, I think I took like 750 and I wasn't feeling it like as much as I wanted to. So I started pounding dabs and then the edibles, I talked shit and they kicked in even more. And I was like,
oh, edibles will fucking take you there
dude,
too.
yeah.
There's
will
too
take you
much
there.
edibles that I don't feel good.
Dude, edibles will drag you beneath, bro. They will
bro,
drag you
I
beneath.
ate so many edibles that I woke up fucking high the next day still. Like I was like, all right, I know what edibles I like.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I've eaten too many edibles for sure. But it usually takes like, close to that 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
Where I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
whoa, that was too fucking much. Have you seen that gummy bear challenge that some fucking nutzos are trying? Was it like a fucking 3,000 or 4,000, 6,000 milligrams?
So I have
Massive gummy.
see, that just sounds like shits to me because that's a lot of gelatin.
Yeah.
Like I got at home right now a 10,000 milligram syrup that you pour into like lemonades.
Okay.
And it's literally it's like the size of this water bottle. And I've been waiting for somebody to like want to crack that open with me because I'm not brave enough to try to do 10,000 myself.
I wouldn't. I'm going to say I advise against that.
Don't try this at home.
Having too much edibles or having too much of any drug in you, you've got that like horrible feeling, which is like, when's this going to end?
Yeah.
It feels like shit. Like I'm real sensitive to opiates. So I think it's lucky because I've never had a taste for them and opiates fucking trash.
100% agree.
But I'm really sensitive to it where they make me fucking sick. Like even like of like a Vicodin or like, a 5 milligram, like what the doctor would give you for like minor pain. Can't fucking do it, dude. And I've been since I was like a kid, playing sports and shit, would hurt myself. I could never do opiates. So I was really sensitive to it. So as soon as I'd take a single pill, I'd feel fucking sick. And it was like bad, bro. So I know a lot of people that if they get too much cannabis, too much edible in them, or, that Delta 11, if they get too much of that fucking converted fucking oil in their stomach, and they're fucked.
They
And
call it greening out for most people.
yeah, they're having a horrible time. So edibles, go in easy, figure out what milligram you like for sure. If I could give any advice on that.
Don't do what I do.
The one damn cannabis packaging, I'd say, read the warnings and follow the
100%.
instructions.
And
Fucking
eat it by the
edibles.
slice too. Like, it's
Start
eat that
slow.
little square. Don't just,
If you can't control yourself, put that shit in the fridge. Keep it out of sight, out of mind, because they're gonna be good and you're gonna want to eat it all, but then you're gonna get in a bad place.
Well, we were talking about it just a second ago with the medical gummies. You were talking about, they're, I got to eat fucking 2 or whatever. And we have designed most of our products that way to give a little more candy or whatever, more edible and less milligrammage per to provide that stepping stone where they can, you can ease into it. Yeah, eat the whole fucking bag if you really want to get there. But, if you are just trying, nothing's worse than them telling you bite a fucking corner off, and I won't name any names, but I saw a product the other day and it said 1/16 of the edible. And I'm like,
you're going to make me do math. I'm just trying to eat it edible.
Bro, on something that fucking big, a 6, come the fuck on. That's a hard fucking measurement. So, yeah, you don't want to make something too strong that you got to tell your consumer to, shave a cunt hair off the side of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And eat 1 follicle of this.
Get one of the pill cutters for chocolate bars, bro. You put a square of chocolate into the pill cutter, cut it in half.
I'm going to tell you right now, though, them French toast truffle things that you guys do. Oh, my God.
Chocolate's bad. I've gained some weight. And it's because we brought chocolate on too. It's up there.
Your chocolate's amazing.
25, 30 pounds, I think, since we brought factory chocolate into the house. So yeah, but the chocolate's good.
It is good.
Yeah, definitely.
It is very
Definitely
good,
chocolate.
See, that's where I'll be you don't have to test them. You can just let me test them. I'll sit in the back. Just feed me.
Well, man, I really I appreciate you guys coming out. How can people find you if they want to get a hold of you? If they want to follow you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm Dabbin505Bear. I have that and my backup, Dabbin505Bear #2.
Cool. What about you, Wani?
Also on Instagram, Distillate Juan on Instagram. Also do rugs, so you can follow me on Zombo Rugs.
Sickest custom rugs in the state.
Yeah,
fire.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, boys, for coming out. We got
yeah.
some cool things planned for some other videos, but I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast.
I got one more thing to say.
Bullshitting. Talk to me.
Farmers are fuck it.
Farmers are fucking.
That's all
Thank
I
you.
gotta say.
Thank you, Wani. Well, thank you guys for coming out, man. And it was a pleasure, and we'll talk soon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.